Y'all remember the Sonya Massey student family? That video where that lady prayed to God and that man shot her in the head, bro? Well, his time has finally come. John Grayson has been found guilty of second-degree murder. It's crazy, bro, that this happened a day ago. They announced this a day ago. I'm late. I'm not gonna lie. I be busy with work. You feel me? Outside of here. I'm a teacher outside of my YouTube stuff, right? So I'm a day late, but they finally got him, which is crazy. It's insane, and it's crazy to me that this isn't being talked about more. So that being said, let's get right into this video, family. I ain't gonna say too much. We're gonna actually react to this live. You feel me? So let's get right into it. Let's see what they're talking about. CBS News 24/7. Let's get into it.
We have breaking news from Peoria, Illinois, where a verdict has been reached in the trial of a former Illinois sheriff deputy charged with first-degree murder of 36-year-old Sonya Massey. Sean Grayson was convicted of second-degree murder in connection with the July 2024 incident. Sentencing will be January 29th. Now, Grayson testified in his own defense, which can be rare in a murder case. He said he feared for his life and shot Massey in self-defense. This is a live look right now outside the courthouse. I want to show you body camera video that was very essential to this case. Prosecutors saying, no, Grayson fired prematurely and that Massey did not pose an immediate threat. This is that video we're talking about. Massey, a 36-year-old mother, had called 911 to report a suspected prowler outside her home. Deputies showed up. This incident escalates, involving a pot of boiling water on her stove. Grayson had asked her to move it. She had said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And there were expletives flying, and he had basically said, I'm going to shoot you. She had cowered and said sorry. And again, this was crucial to the case here. I want to go ahead and bring in Anna Schechter.
He still
she
shot.
is the senior coordinating producer for our crime and public safety unit. So Anna, I've sort of laid out this. You and your unit also have taken a deep dive into the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. But go ahead and just tell us what you're learning here about this case and this verdict.
Well, we were looking at 3 counts of first-degree murder, and it was only a day ago that we learned that actually 2 days ago, right before jury deliberation began, that the jury could actually consider second-degree murder if mitigating factors led them to believe, yes, he did murder her, but he had a reasonable defense in that he feared for his life. So that was actually new and came late in the game. We learned right before jury deliberation that that was possible. And we that is in fact what the jury came down with, second-degree murder charges. Why is that important? Sentencing guidelines are completely different. He could face up to 20 years in prison instead of up to life in prison, 45 to life.
And so the other deputy who was on scene with him that day also testified and actually said he didn't feel threatened.
The deputy his own partner that was with him testified against his ass. Cause he felt bad. He knew that was wrong, bro. What?
Only drew his weapon when Grayson did, although initially I believe he did tell investigators he felt threatened because he was afraid he would also be criminally charged in this. But again, going back to those mitigating circumstances, is that what the jury could have foreseen in terms of Grayson's testimony, saying she appeared under the influence of something, she appeared scatterbrained, he feared for his life, he feared that she would somehow throw the scalding water on him. And so is that a possible mitigating factor that jurors were allowed to consider?
For sure, that is the mitigating factor that is central to this. And in fact, the defense played that body cam, which a lot of our viewers and legal experts thought was really in favor of the prosecution. But the defense used it to lean into their argument that he felt that there was an imminent threat. And we also went into this question during his time on the stand of he didn't use a taser because he was worried that it wouldn't get through her clothing, because that's kind of how it works. A taser dart actually attaches to the skin. So that was part of his defense. And that's why he used the gun. I was unsure if that was going to work on the jury. Like, really, you had that time? But clearly, that pot of boiling.
Bro, he literally pulled the gun out so fast on her right when she said, "I'll rebuke you in the name of Jesus." He pulled his gun out so goddamn fast. Quick.
Water, and what his defense said is that she raised the pot of boiling water. Now that is a question.
If you ain't seen that video,
Prosecutors
bro,
said no, she
that
was
shit
literally
is.
crouching down and saying sorry.
And she
So all of
was.
this same material was used by both sides, and this is really a win for Team Grayson because first-degree murder, he had a big hurdle to overcome with that very damning body cam footage where everyone saw him pull the trigger. You raised the issue of his partner who was there. I mean, that was a star witness for the prosecution.
Oh, yeah.
When he said on the stand that Massey did nothing and said nothing that made
Oh, yeah, he was cooked in.
this partner perceive her as a threat, I mean, that put all the onus on Grayson. So they really had a major hurdle to overcome. And so, you know, convincing the jury that it was second-degree murder did that.
And prosecutors were trying for first-degree murder. They pointed out that Grayson threatened to shoot Massey in the face right before he actually did. But jurors did ask Tuesday after closing arguments to rewatch the body camera footage. They also asked today to see Grayson's previous employment and training history. What does that tell you?
Well, that is a really interesting point. In fact, CBS News, our team, FOIA'd immediately. As soon as this became public, we knew that he had cycled through 6 different law enforcement agencies in 4 years, that there had been accusations in his file of bullying, abusive behavior, kind of intimidating behavior in one case, and then also misusing his position in another case to intimidate someone related to his family who had children, just inappropriate behavior. And then a third thing, which was the most damning, which we have the dash cam video of him driving over 100 miles an hour in a car chase, and he actually hit a deer and was uninjured. But this kind of...
What the hell? Dog out here hitting deers and just like he's something's not right in the head with him, bro. He's a killer. Get this thug off the streets now, quickly.
Reckless behavior.
We
also learned he made mistakes on his police reports, and there was a question that we never really got answered. Was he lying intentionally on those police reports? So,
oh yeah, he's a dirty cop.
A checkered history. Now, of course, anyone in law enforcement, you know, people do make accusations, but in such a short time, 4 years, doing this job, cycling through 6 departments, and having that list of things, of accusations against you, that leaned in favor of the prosecution, but clearly it wasn't enough for the jury to find that he was a bad actor in this case.
CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us now. Jessica, you can pick up where Anna left off. What are your thoughts on this verdict?
So my thoughts are that there was a lot going for the prosecution in this case, and that's why I think we do see that conviction. But there was a defense here that Grayson, at least himself, believed that he was acting in self-defense. When it comes to second-degree murder in Illinois, my understanding is that that's the mitigating factor we're looking at to bring us down from first-degree murder to second-degree murder. That what we're looking at is one of 2 mitigating factors that essentially would undercut the idea of premeditation that we talk about for first-degree murder. So when it comes to second-degree, what can bring you down? One is acting in a intense passion as a result of actions by the victim. Another is acting in self-defense where it's not reasonable, but you subjectively believed that you were acting in self-defense. And given what we've heard over the trial, I think that's where we see the jury ultimately land here, is that they do think that there should be punishment. They do think that it is murder, but that they did feel that there was that mitigating circumstance, again, based on the other evidence that the defense presented.
Jessica and Anna, stand by if you can. I do want to go to CBS News correspondent and Weekend Evening News anchor Jerika Duncan. Jerika, you're outside the courthouse in Peoria. You were inside. Tell us what you know.
Imagine being able to build
Well, that's
anything
crazy,
just by
boy.
thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
That's wild.
Yeah, just about 20 minutes ago, the judge gathered us all in the courtroom, and he said, we have a verdict. Then the jurors came in, and they simply said, or he read the verdict, which was guilty of second-degree murder. I immediately looked at the families of...
Get him out of there. Get him out of there. You gotta go, bro. He did that lady wrong, bro. If you ain't seen that video, Google it and go check it out. Guarantee it may make you cry, or it may make you sick to your stomach, or it might just do both. That video is gruesome. He did that lady wrong. You can tell she had some mental issues going on, or something was going on with her, and that situation could have been avoided. Instead, you shoot her in the head because you wanted to kill something. Come on, man. Get him out of there.
Grayson, as well as Massey. Massey's family was sort of stoic. I think in speaking to some of them beforehand, they were hoping for the most serious charge in terms of the conviction, which is that first-degree murder. And I also noticed Grayson's family, I'm not sure if it was his mother, but someone of about 5 or 6 people that had been here pretty regularly, bracing themselves, breathing very hard before they came in and holding the hands. And once that verdict was read, tears began to fall down their eyes. So you have both families obviously showing emotion in court. As for Grayson, he just kept his eyes on the judge. I saw him whisper over to his attorney before they put him back in handcuffs. He looked as though he was looking for his family. His family had already left the courtroom, but that's sort of what happened inside the courtroom. It was very quick. We were there for all of 5 minutes. And the judge thanked the jurors for their service. This was a jury of 8 women, 4 men, 1 black person on this jury. So, you know, we always want to hear from them after something like this to get a sense of what it was like inside that deliberation room. But we know that they must have had a lot of questions. I mean, they were deliberating for about 13 hours starting yesterday. They were asking questions about the last 2 parts of that second-degree murder versus the first-degree murder charge. And I think there was a little bit of confusion at one point. The prosecutor said, well, let's just get rid of that instruction. And the defense said, well, no, we agreed to these instructions, so we should keep it on and tell them that these 2 things are separate and they need to go back and deliberate. Then there was a question about an exhibit. There was video that they wanted to see, but also wanted the lights dimmed, from what I understand, so they could clearly see some of that video that was shown in court, I guess, to discern the actions of Sonya Massey, as you all know by now.
Bro. They played the video in court with the lights dimmed, so they can really see how he did her. Can you imagine being her family, you watching this, bro? Like, you seeing the pictures they showing of her like this, like, oh, bro, this is crazy. I'm glad they got him. That is wild.
Now, that is at the heart of this case, that video, but also what Sean Grayson said he thought was a threat, which is that water, and what the prosecutor said, which is essentially that Grayson did not only follow policy, but they believe that this was a first-degree murder case. So it will be interesting to hear from the family of Sonya Massey, who we hope to speak to relatively soon. We haven't seen them come out just yet. There are some people that were protesting on the corner here of the courthouse. As soon as I came out of the courthouse, there were people frustrated and upset and saying this is not what justice looks like. And then maybe within 5 minutes, I heard people saying justice did happen today for Sonya Massey. So you have people that are a little split, people in that crowd that were in tears, but obviously in some ways, depending on who you talk to, this is justice for Sonya Massey, because a officer, a former deputy, was charged with second-degree murder, which is very rare when you look at the history of these police-involved shootings. Lindsay?
And Jerika, Anna Schechter had told us that it was kind of a surprise late in the game that jurors could consider second-degree murder as well. Were you in the court when that was happening earlier in the week?
No, you know, we arrived here yesterday knowing that closing arguments were taking place. And that instruction, I believe, was given before that was an option. Yes, I know. In fact, that was because when I was in New York, that was something that we discussed in terms of trying to get here early before those closing arguments, making sure we were in the courtroom to sort of hear those last arguments from both the prosecution and the defense side.
And Jerika, stand by if you can, and if you do flag anyone down, be sure to let us know. Jessica, I just want to go back to you, and I had discussed this with Anna, but can you talk to us about the sentencing guidelines and how they differ between first degree, which is not what Grayson was convicted on, and second degree, which is what he was?
So my understanding under Illinois law, of course, we're talking about state law, is that there is actually the possibility, although I think it's remote, of no jail time, that there's no mandatory minimum in this case. When it came to first degree murder, you're looking at a potential life sentence. I think when it comes to second degree murder, what we're going to see is, I'm guessing and speculating that a judge will look and say that there is certainly prison time that is appropriate in this case, but it may not be life in prison. I don't think that's envisioned by the state statute here, which is to say that the difference of going from...
He need life in prison. Comment below and y'all let me know how much time y'all think he deserves. Right? I'm just glad it didn't come back like on some manslaughter or, you know, them type of charges, bro. Second degree is cool, but he need hella time for what he did. That judge gonna fucking around and crucify him. I hope they do. Set an example. I feel like they need to start setting some examples for, you know, the police that wanna like just kill people like this, bro. Stop giving them manslaughter and these other charges. Really start hitting them with life and 50, 40 years and this and that. And I guarantee they was second guess before they do that shit next time.
First degree murder, which was charged, to this lesser included offense of second degree murder. I know you talked about the, you know, surprise by some that you were able to find guilt on a lesser included charge, that this is a difference when it comes to sentencing. I mean, again, we're talking about, I understand the possibility of no jail time. I do not think that is a probability at all.
Back to Anna Schechter here with me in studio. As I mentioned, you and your unit have done a deep dive into the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. Have there been any changes made since this shooting?
Well, there have. They implemented a series of trainings, retraining officers on use of force, on de-escalation, or who also felt they was
20 years on the second degree murder. So I believe that's on second degree
at this point in time.
And Jerika, back to you. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of discussion regarding the amount of time, and I just want to also note, while we focus on second degree murder, the jury also found that he personally discharged a firearm and killed Massey, so I believe that will be taken into consideration as well. With that sentencing, we were told 4 to 20 years on the second degree murder charge in the state of Illinois, but that will be determined at sentencing, which right now is scheduled for January 29th of next year in Sangamon County, not here at the Peoria County Courthouse, but it will actually be where that crime was committed.
My thanks to Drew.
They got him. They got him. They got him. They got to give him that full 20 years. I feel like that's just me. Right? So, Pete, let me see something real quick. Let me see. Y'all see this right here? I know I'm late. I gotta be late. Check this out.
Just because it's wet outside, you don't need to wear
CBS
boots. Presenting
only. They
Skechers
like
waterproof
shit.
sneakers with rugged 100.
Serious justice, not a miscarriage of justice that happened here in Peoria.
Second-degree murder? That is not right.
It's not, though.
That is not justice for anybody's family.
An Illinois jury
They wanna
found
say
Sean
it.
Grayson guilty of 1 count of second-degree murder. He's the former sheriff's deputy convicted of shooting and killing Sonya Massey while responding to her 911 call. CBS Weekend News anchor and national correspondent Jerika Duncan was in the courtroom for this trial and joins us now from Peoria, Illinois. Jerika, what happened?
Well, good morning to you, Errol. Good morning to everyone. You know, being in that courtroom after those jurors deliberated for about 12 hours, it was silent in that courtroom. The Massey family didn't have much to say, but obviously they had a lot to say once they got outside of that courthouse.
He was in 6 police departments in 3.5 years. That is shameful.
Sonya Massey's father, James Wilburn, was emotional and frustrated after Wednesday's verdict. Sean Grayson was facing 3 counts of first-degree murder, but a jury found him guilty on 1 lesser count of second-degree murder, sparing Grayson a possible life sentence.
He told my child he would shoot her in the effing face, and he did it. And all we got was a second-degree murder conviction out of this.
What do you need help with?
The former Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy shot Massey down in her kitchen after she called 911 to check on a suspected prowler. Grayson testified that he viewed Massey's pot of boiling water as a threat and was trained to use force to gain compliance. The trial, which began last week, largely focused on disturbing body camera footage recorded by Grayson's partner in the early morning hours of the deadly 2024 incident. Prosecutors said Grayson failed to render medical aid to Massey right after the shooting.
Literally.
After the verdict, we sat down with...
He is on camera basically saying she's done for her. Feel me? Like, man, I didn't want to be the one to say it, but he really should have got life, bro. He needs life.
Massey's father, cousin, and family friend.
To the Grayson family, what do you say to them?
I feel sorry for them. The mother came over and apologized, and she said, we did not raise him that way, and I'm really sorry for your family. My heart goes out to them. We lost Sonya, but they lost a son, and what he did for Sonya, he has to pay, and they realize that.
Earlier this year, the Sangamon County paid out $10 million in a wrongful death lawsuit to the family, although the family says they would give all of that money back to have Sonya with them here today. As for Grayson, he's expected to be sentenced in January and could face up to 20 years behind bars. Errol?
And Jerika, it's impossible for any of us to really know what Massey's family is going through emotionally.
We going in there, though, family. Man, oh, man. But, yeah, I didn't want to be the one to say, you know, he deserved life. You know, my thing is, I be looking at it as it's a step towards them holding them accountable for this shit, because usually what they'll do, they'll try to slap a manslaughter on there or do some lesser charge. You feel me? They do like 4 years, get out, 5 years to get out. You feel me? But they at least got him with second-degree murder, but it's really not enough, though. You feel me? I feel like he should have got life. But as soon as they came on here and said second degree, I was like, shit. Second degree it is, you feel me? So it's like, bro, he got to at least 40, 50, something. He got to get more time than that, bro. That's just how I feel, though, family. Y'all let me know how y'all feel. Comments. Before we get up out of here, man, make sure y'all hit that subscribe, comment, and like button. Appreciate the ones who've been tapping in, no cap. We're going to keep the train rolling, you feel me? We're going to roll to 10K subscribers, so make sure you hit that button and turn them alerts on. Also, if y'all want me to react to anything on here, make sure y'all send it to me on Instagram. Or just comment on the video, bro, and drop a link, and I got y'all, no cap. So, this is wild, bro. I'm not going to lie. So much to say, little time. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, though. Peace and love, my boy DJ. I'm gone.